Something pretty interesting happened on Halloween. This video that has been making the rounds. Somebody decided to dress up as Benjamin Netanyahu on Halloween and confront Cory Booker in person. This video is hilarious, guys. We got to get into it. We're going to make a connection here between what happened here to Cory Booker and, of course, this RGC event that just happened, because I am going to show you where Cory Booker bears some similarities with some of his Republican counterparts, but he don't really want to get into that, but we're going to get into that, okay? So Cory Booker was confronted on Halloween by a fake Netanyahu. Pro-Palestinian activists disrupt Cory Booker's speech at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. Guys, you've got to see this.
Please keep funding our genocide. Thank you, Americans.
Oh, wow.
So he said, here's a stack of cash for your great work. There's Cory Booker sitting right there in the light, I think that's light gray suit. So he just walks up on the stage. This was hilarious to me.
Thank you for saying something about
He said, and here's a dead baby bonus. And for all the churches that Israel bombed too.
Thank you for saying something about Thank you, Americans. Please keep funding our genocide. Thank you, Americans.
It's a very big
Cory Booker for Senate. Cory Booker. 2026. Let's go.
I don't know who this person is that dressed up as Netanyahu, but we got to give him an epic clap.
Gaza, what kind of outlook do they have? You funded a genocide, and you talk about values. You voted to send bombs to Israel, and you're talking about love and values here, and children in your neighborhood? Children in your neighborhood get Twinkies and apples. They don't get bombed while going to get them. You took $800,000 from AIPAC.
I think I have a little bit more of that video, but like I said, the guy dressed up as Netanyahu, freaking epic, freaking. We have to drop the beat for this one, guys. I haven't dropped the beat in a while, so I think we'll do pressure.
Let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. Give them a name to remember.
Hey!
Let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. A moment can live on forever.
A moment can live on forever. Forever. And I think this is one of those moments that will. I do have a little bit more of the other gentleman's speech. I think it cut him off a little bit earlier there. I think it did. Here's a close-up of that one so you can see better.
What kind of outlook do they have? You funded a genocide, and you talk about values. You voted to send bombs to Israel, and you're talking about love and values here, and children in your neighborhood. Children in your neighborhood get Twinkies and apples. They don't get bombed while going to get them. You took $800,000 from AIPAC.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Cory Booker, you took that money. Cory Booker, you stood there and took pictures with Benjamin Netanyahu. Cory Booker is friends with Rabbi Shmuley. He's taking pictures with him as well. Cory Booker, you wanted to sit in that seat, so you really can't say anything when people come up and confront you, right? Look how long it took Cory Booker to call what was happening in Gaza starvation. He's like, oh, we can't starve the people. We got to get the aid in. Still to this day, wouldn't call it a genocide because he's taken over $800,000 from AIPAC. When he was confronted about this on the I Have Had It podcast, he tried to deflect. That was over the course of years that I took that money. Why everybody keeps talking about Israel and Gaza? Why aren't people talking about the genocide that is happening in Sudan? First, people are talking about it. Two, if he paid attention to independent media, but then two, the United States is providing the weapons and the funding for the genocide in Gaza. The United States is involved directly with what is happening in Gaza. Now, here's the problem why I say that the Democratic Party isn't a truly oppositional party. Because when we take a look at what happened over the weekend at the RJC, I want to show you this here. This is the crowd at the Republican Jewish Coalition event on Saturday. The crowd is very small. Looks to be about 100 and 150 people. So it's not a large group of people. One could laugh at how little support they have, but the truth is this small gathering has more influence over the GOP than the 77 million Americans that voted for Donald Trump. That is the reality, and that's something I think we all have to come to terms with. That may be a small group there, but that small group has more power. When we talk about the confrontation that just happened with Cory Booker, we have to ask that question again: who's driving the bus? Israel, AIPAC, the donor class, they are driving the bus. Now, we can say, some may say, well, Cory Booker's driving that bus. Cory Booker is actually a passenger on the bus. Now, here's the thing. A passenger can get off the bus when they want to. When that bus comes to a stop, Cory Booker can get out of his seat and get off that bus. But he has decided to stay on that seat, to stay on that bus as a passenger. Or if he wanted to be even more brazen, he could say, get out of the driver's seat, AIPAC, Israel. You get off the bus. This is my bus, and I'm going to drive that bus. And he can choose to take that bus down a different lane. Like I said, they can switch lanes. But Cory Booker doesn't want to do that. Now, Cory Booker may differ from the Republicans when it comes to some of the social issues, when it comes to some of the economic issues. He may differ a little bit. But when it comes to Israel, he does not differ. Cory Booker has taken more money than AIPAC than some of the Republican politicians that are in Congress. So you see this group of people, and yes, it's small.
Stand up, Trump and Netanyahu.
So not a lot of people, right? That's Mark Levin there. We'll get to him in just a second. Not a lot of people in that room, but those people have immense power. So this is who is really representing these politicians instead of the people who actually go out and vote. And that's a big problem that we have. Kevin said Booker is pretty effed up on domestic issues as well. Yeah. Like, I know he doesn't support like universal health care. He doesn't go far with it, but he'll say, no, don't cut SNAP and we can't remove health care for people. But he's never going to get out of that bubble that he's in where he walks away. He breaks from the status quo and says, we need to really do something for the working class people. Now, again, if you know about Cory Booker's background and you understand where he comes from, I explained this on the show before. He's another one of these what would have been at that time a potential politician that would be suitable for AIPAC to go after, right? Like Cory Booker went to Stanford, very smart, was speaking a lot about like issues for the Black community and everything at that time. And what they usually do is they'll go after Black people like that when they're in college, and they'll try to get them on board with their agenda. By they, I mean AIPAC, J Street, any of the Israeli lobby groups. And they'll say, if you support us, we'll make sure that you get that seat in Congress. This is how the game is played. Cory Booker is one of the simps that decided to play that game. Cory Booker is one of the simps that actually told AIPAC at a meeting that this is how you get the Black people on board. Start recruiting them young. He said that to a room full of AIPAC reps. Cory Booker stood there, and for all his talk about civil rights and all this type of stuff, Cory Booker stood right there in front of that room and sold out the Black community to benefit his own political career and his own pockets. Now, when we look at this event that happened over the weekend, I want you to understand that when you hear rhetoric that comes from Randy Fine, and although Cory Booker may not say some of the same words that Randy Fine says, But Cory Booker is in the same category with this guy. Listen to this.
But I'm here for the kids down here because it's easy to talk about anti-Semitism on the left. I want to talk about the dark force rising on our side. Multiple speakers have talked about the rise of anti-Semitism on the right. But it is not enough to speak in platitudes or generalities about the fight. We must call evil by its name. 5 years ago, if I was talking to my father, who's watching, hi Dad, if I was talking to my father at 8:59 p.m. at night, he would say, Randy, I gotta go. Tucker Carlson's gonna be on. But make no mistake, today, Tucker Carlson is the most dangerous anti-Semite in America.
Here we go. And it wasn't just him. One of the messages that was delivered during this event is that people like Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens, whether you agree with them or not, that they need to be silenced. They need to be deplatformed. And here's the thing. Look, I don't agree with Tucker Carlson on most things, but you don't even hear me calling for those people to be deplatformed. That's something I'm very much against. I told you guys, I'm against people being deplatformed. I'm against the censorship, that type of thing. But this is where it's going. So when it comes to Israel, no, the Democratic Party is not an oppositional party. When it comes to billionaire money, no, it's not an oppositional party. So do we really have, between those two parties, do we really have a party that's for the working class? That would be one of the third parties. That would be the Green Party. That would be PSL. But when it comes to the two major parties, no, we don't. So this whole let's take pictures with Netanyahu, let's take these trips to Israel, let's push the greater Israel agenda. Cory Booker is doing the same thing when it comes to that issue as Randy Fine. Let's continue on.
He has chosen to take on the mantle of leader of a modern day Hitler Youth, to broadcast and feature those who celebrate the Nazis, those who call for the extermination of Israel, to defend Hamas, to even criticize President Trump for stopping Iran's nuclear ambitions. Friends, make no mistake, Tucker is not MAGA.
See this? Everybody see what's going on now? Okay. Tucker Carlson had this interview with Nick Fuentes. You can like it, you can dislike it, but now does everybody see how they turn on you? So do you see how they turn it on Tucker and Candace and all of them because they're not willing to play that game? They're not playing that game anymore. Oh, we got to kick them out of the club. We got to go after them now. This happened in the Democratic Party too. They did it to Cori Bush. They did it to Jamal Bowman. They tried to do it to Rashida Tlaib. Then I guess they realized that, her district is her, and that's not going to work. The games that are played.
Tucker's fall from grace has been one of the most extraordinary implosions in political history. And the rapidity of it has created real challenges for us all. Because our friends don't have our shared experience. I even deal with this with my colleagues in the House. See, they remember the Tucker of 5 years ago. They don't live with anti-Semitism every day. They don't think about it the way that we do. And it's jarring for them to try to understand, how did this person become who he is today? But the challenge is he's inspired a movement of hate in our midst. And I'm not done calling people out.
And this is part of the reason why Cory Booker, I don't believe, will ever change. What happened to my... Oh, here we go. This is one of the reasons why I don't think Cory Booker will ever do the right thing or go as far as he should when it comes to Israel, right? Because you see how they turn it on Tucker and all of them now? This is what happens when you don't move the way that they want you to move. You see, as long as you're doing everything that they want you to do to be a part of that club, they'll stand right by you. They'll defend you. They will be your ride or die. But the moment that you disagree, the moment that you start to, I don't know, do a little bit of the hokey pokey and turn yourself around, the moment that you start to do that, they will take every measure that they have and turn it against you. Cory Booker knows what's happening is wrong, but Cory Booker knows what'll happen if he were to take that same type of step that, let's say, Cori Bush took. He knows what's going to happen. He knows they're going to get him out. Oh, Cory Booker, we got to get somebody to primary you. AIPAC will say that. They'll come after him. You even had clowns like, and I just, Lord knows, Floyd Mayweather, even Floyd Mayweather out there simping for this genocidal, racist state.
And like I said before, I'm not with you guys 10%, 50%. I will always be the voice for the people in Israel. I will always stand behind the country of Israel, the one and only Floyd Money Mayweather in Israel. I will always be here for you guys when you guys don't have a voice.
They won't always be there for you. Hell, they don't even like you. You're just used as a token. You are used so that they can say, see, Israel isn't racist. We got Floyd Mayweather. Mark Levin, another one, said some pretty harsh things here. Again, calling for people to be deplatformed.
I don't need more than 15 minutes. The cowards. We're surrounded by cowards who have microphones, who have TV cameras, who have websites, who have columns. Cowards. It's spelled C-A-R-L-S-O-N. It's spelled F-U-E-N-T-E-S. It's spelled O-W-E-N-S. It's spelled B-A-N-N-O-N. It's spelled Marjorie Trader Green. You can figure that out yourself. And they're not alone. How are we going to attack the Mondamis and the Talibs and the Omars and the Sanders and the rest of them when in our own house this poison is spreading? We've got to take care of business. We can fight the enemy on the other side. But the problem is, the more daunting problem, the more complicated problem is when they're in our house and they're trying to take over our house and they're burning down our house and they're destroying America First and they're destroying MAGA and they're destroying the Republican Party, which means they're destroying the country. Either speak up and stand out, but don't be a pretender. Don't be a pretender. We need help to deal with these people.
Calling out all of the podcasters that have been critical of Israel. Now, these are the same people that stood toe to toe with Tucker Carlson, stood right beside him, Candace, and all of them, Nick Fuentes, all of them. They were totally fine with them when they were willing to play their game. But at some point, they realized, whoa, you know, I don't think this is right. I don't really feel that way. I think I'm going to say this and I'm free to say what I want because I believe in free speech. But then coming to realize, yes, you can say those things, but the club may not allow you to continue to be a part of the club. And then they will turn against you. This is why I think Cory Booker won't do the right thing. He's probably going to run for president again. He's engaged now, so, you know, that's a bonus. He'll probably get married before 2028 so that he has a wife. The woman he proposed to looks very much like Rosario Dawson, weirdly enough. But if you want to be an oppositional party, you can't be in line with this type of rhetoric, right? The people willing to defend Israel at any and every cause. And on this position in particular, I don't care what the Democratic Party says, you guys are not different from the Republican Party when it comes to Israel. You co-sign the same things. The Black Caucus, you get on a plane, you go to Israel and you kneel at the wall. You bend the knee for Benjamin Netanyahu. But when you are confronted with constituents in your own district, I can't do nothing for you. Don't talk to me. I'm not the president. I don't write the bills. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. There's nothing we can do. I don't have the House. We ain't got the Senate. We ain't got the da-da-da. But they never say that to Israel. That's a big thing. If the Democratic Party were to tomorrow totally change their position on Israel and stop taking the money from the Israeli lobby, they would have a stronger position to say, hey, we are an oppositional party. But they can't do that. Because in order for them to do that, then they would also have to say, we're not going to take billionaire money in this party anymore. See, that's what it really all goes back to. Because as long as you're still taking big money interests, as long as you're taking super PACs, you're taking the billionaire money, you're taking money from the military industrial complex, you are not going to be a truly oppositional party from the Republican Party. It all goes back to money. So you got Mark Levin here. He wants them gone. Randy Fine wants them gone. They are basically creating a war against podcasters that are part of their party. And so I'm going to say the same thing that I said about the progressives in the Democratic Party. I'm going to give that same message to Tucker Carlson. He said Steve Bannon too, which is interesting. Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, all of them, all these people that are part of the Republican Party that do not support Israel, that do not support American money going to Israel, they really need to have a separate party. Listen, I'm registered no party affiliation. I voted third party in 2024. I have no dog in this fight. You don't see me leaning one way or the other. I'm just here to just put it out there, point blank. Same thing I said about AOC and all of them, how they really need to have a separate party, is the same thing I'm saying to Candace and Tucker and all of them. They really need to have a separate party. A party that is free from, doesn't want the U.S. to send money to other countries. A party that doesn't want any more wars. A party that actually really wants to put America first. Because if you're putting Israel first, you're not putting America first. You're not. They have been kicked out of the club. And Cory Booker can also be kicked out of that club. And so Cory and Randy Fine, and God tell me, I don't know who voted for Randy Fine, but please, for the love of God, tell me you guys got someone else to get him out of that seat. Cory Booker, Randy Fine, Ted Cruz, all of them. Who else was pro? Kamala was pro-Israel, like all of them. These people have to either come to a reckoning and do what's right for humanity, call it a genocide, and leave Israel behind, or they will forever allow the Israeli lobby, Benjamin Netanyahu, and Israel all together drive their bus. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to be a passenger on the bus. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.